Howdy, speaker fam. Welcome to the Speak Organized podcast. Today's episode is one that you all asked for, and so I'm going to make it happen. My guest today has a really incredible story of how she overcame some seriously extreme obstacles in life with her health, being a single mom, and never having owned her own business before. She punched any fear that she rightfully had right in the face and now runs a full-time professional organizing business, doing what she loves every day, connecting with people in her community, and spending more time with her son on her own terms. She's going to share all about her story, as well as provide lots of advice for putting yourself out there to find clients and lots of real talk mindset shifts to help you get up and get moving on your dream of starting your own business. This episode is definitely one that you're not going to want to miss, so I encourage you to please stick around and let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Speak Organized podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Summers, professional organizer, decluttering expert, and productivity-based life coach. I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. My kids are in and out for this one today, so buckle up, fam. It's going to be quite the circus. Before we get started, fam, do me a favor and look at the screen of your device and give that subscribe button a tap. I would be so honored to have you as a member of the Speaker fam. And don't forget to smash that like button and hit the little notification bell so that you're notified whenever I post new content. I work super hard every single week, rain or shine, kids napping or not napping, whatever. I am here for you, and I would really appreciate the support. I would love to connect with you further, so don't forget to follow along on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. My handle is @ISpeakOrganized, pretty easy to remember. And be sure to join my free Facebook group. It's growing rapidly, and it's full of folks who are in the same boat that you are, starting or leveling up their business, people who are on organizing and decluttering journeys. We're all in there together, sharing stories, asking questions, advice. It's all great stuff. And I would love to have you be a member of that group. Have you ever heard that the teacher you need shows up when you're ready for them? I have definitely experienced that in my life, especially on my journey to growing my business. And you might be here today, right now, because you are ready to take the leap of faith and dive into the unknown, to experience growth in your life, no matter what stage you're in. So I want to share the ways in which I might have the honor of being your teacher and a resource to help you hop off the fence and take those next steps on your exciting business journey. If you're ready to get serious about starting or leveling up your professional organizing business, you have the opportunity to schedule an affordable consultation with me to get all of your questions answered. For real, nothing is off the table. And I would be honored to strategize with you and provide you with tons of resources during our call. I am serious about my mission to help you successfully start your own business and help you overcome any fear or doubt you have in your ability to make home organizing your new career. It was the best thing I ever did, and I would love to help you do it too. My schedule fills up quickly, so be sure to click the link in the description or the pinned comment to book your call before all of my slots are full for the month. And if you're ready to get paying clients in the door faster, you're going to need a streamlined process to onboard your prospects. And I have taken all the guesswork out of doing that. What to ask potential clients during consultations, what to put in your agreements, getting customer reviews, and more with my signature Pro Organizer Forms pack. These are 9 done-for-you forms that are customizable in a free Canva account, and I'll even show you how to set up that account if you've never used Canva before. These forms will save you days, possibly weeks worth of work researching and drafting critical documents to run your business professionally, and they're specifically designed for our industry. All of my YouTube and podcast fam get an exclusive discount, YT Pro 8, and that will get you $8 off at checkout. Lastly, if you are totally intimidated by using social media for your business, I have a great class that you can watch on your own time called the I Speak Organized Social Media Method. It includes 5 20 to 30 minute lessons that will help you come up with endless post ideas for the most popular platforms, including easy Reels and TikTok video ideas, how to boost your following and engagement with people who actually like and share your content, how to post consistently without spending hours on social every day with my signature content planner that you'll receive for free at the end of class, and a breakdown of all my favorite tools and software. I've made it super accessible and affordable for you. And of course, you get a bonus discount for being part of my speaker fam, ISO Social 5 at checkout. All right, speaker fam, welcome to this episode. I'm joined by my lovely guest, Mollie Elizabeth of Organize Me. She is based out of South Carolina, and she's got a fantastic story. As you know, I cannot wait to dive in with this and welcome you, Mollie. Thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's such a pleasure. And this is an episode that a lot of people have asked for. And I was really happy when you were jumping in to share your story, because you've got a very powerful story that I think a lot of people need to hear. So I want to just let you start off and dive in and tell us, just give us a brief rundown of how you started your business.
So organization has always been a huge part of my family life. I've always done it as a hobby. My home was always a home where people were like, "Oh, I love that idea. That's so cool." So I've always done it as kind of a side hobby for family and friends. But shortly before the pandemic hit, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. I was working in corporate and I wasn't happy. I was trying to get through something in my life and still work and still be a mom and all those things. And then COVID hit and my treatments were home. I was home and the company was taking a different direction. And I decided, okay, I have 6 months of savings. I'm going to take a leap of faith. And I did. And here I am almost 2 years later. So
That's unbelievable. Yeah, and I think it's important not to like gloss over these couple of details, because the overall sense that people have when they start this business is a sense of fear of
yeah.
going into it, and there's a lot of obstacles that we face, and you faced some really challenging obstacles, not only the pandemic, but you also had this life-changing diagnosis that you're going through treatment and all of these things, yet you still used your opportunity, made the best of it, and decided it was the time to take the leap. And I think that that is a very powerful thing that I just want to make sure everybody hears and honor that. So you officially started your business, you said in 2020 or 2021?
2021, yes.
Okay, cool. While you were going through treatment or after you were all done?
No, so I finished treatment in April of 2020, and everybody was working from home. I as well was working from home, kind of recovering after chemo. Obviously, nobody was back in the office at that point in time. And then come May that following year, so it'd been a whole year. I'd been home for almost a year and a half. And that May, they wanted us all to get our vaccinations and come into the office. And
Right.
you can pro your choice. Whatever you want to do, whatever's best for your family is good for you. But at the time, I had just gone through chemo, so I was not willing to put anything else in my body. I had already just killed everything else. So
Right.
I just decided I wasn't going to do it. And
Yeah.
so I put in my 2 weeks. I had no plan in place when I did it. I'll be completely honest. Starting a business, I commend all of the women and men who do it as a side hustle before they just drop the ball and make the leap. I didn't have the time to do it as a side hustle. And now that I do it full time, like I work 7 days a week, I'm always working. So, all that to say is I just made the leap of faith. And as a single mom, I didn't really have an option. I didn't have a backup plan.
Right.
It was the middle of a weird, everybody was doing their own thing. Everybody was, places were hiring, but I wasn't going to leave one desk job for another desk job. So I just jumped. And yeah, in August, officially of August 2021 is when I started my business, when I took my
Wow.
first paying client. So I gave myself like a month to figure it out. And then a month later, I had my first paying client. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's so interesting that you said that it's almost harder, it's more work to do it as a side hustle versus just like dropping everything and really going for it.
It is. I think everybody's like, "Oh, it's a side hustle to make extra money," but the reality is like you can't do anything 100% as a side hustle. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to give my clients what they needed, and I wouldn't be able to give my family what I needed if I was trying to juggle two jobs. So for me, the way that I looked at it was like either I go all in or I don't do it at all. And I did it all in, and it has been a learning curve. Fortunately, my bills were paid, and I have a really good referral network from those first clients that I ended up taking on,
Mhm.
who have kind of shared my business and my testimony through their family and friends. And it just kind of spiraled into having ongoing regular clients too, which has just been really great.
Yeah, what a blessing. That's so awesome. You may have hinted at one surprise about this, but my next question for you is I want you to share something that may surprise our audience about your business journey. So you have all of these variables that you are up against, and you kind of just busted through those roadblocks. What's one other thing that might surprise our audience about your journey?
I literally had no idea what I was doing as far as the business aspect of it. I knew that I loved organizing, but I really did not figure out how to run a business until 6 months in. Like
Mhm.
I had minimal funds to spend on my business, and I mean, I kept everything in an Excel doc for the
Mhm.
first 6 months until I
Yeah.
realized, okay, this is not practical. I have to invest money to make money. So that's one thing that I will say that is probably surprising is I had no idea what actually running your own business looked like until like 6 months in, and I realized, oh my gosh, Excel is not working.
Yeah.
It's
You're growing
it's not
fast.
gonna
Yeah.
work. Like, my one piece of advice is spend the money to set up a CRM and to track your clients. It will save you loads and loads of time as far as invoicing and follow up and all of those things that go into just running a business.
For sure. What's your favorite CRM?
So I use HoneyBook. It's what I originally started on. I've obviously worked in CRMs in the marketing business,
Mhm.
so I'm very familiar with it. But just all of the templates were there. Really, all I had to do was just refine my messaging and upload a logo and build out my templates. And I mean, I was off and running within like a week of setting it up once I figured it out. So, highly suggest HoneyBook, and it's so affordable. Like, if you think about your hourly pricing, it's literally half an hour of your hourly pricing per month. Like, as
Right.
long as you have one client, you've paid for it in that one session. So it sounds like an expense, but it's a necessary expense for sure.
Right. Like you said, you got to spend money to make money, and investing
Yeah, and
is
it
a key
saves you
thing.
it legit saves you time. Like, you can't yeah, I was spinning my wheels just trying to save money, and I realized it wasn't saving me any money because I was spending more time doing other mundane tasks.
Right. And what I always tell you guys, you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Super important to remember. So
Absolutely.
happy that you brought that up. So I want to dive a little bit more into the why of why you started your business. Because you know, you like you mentioned, you kind of touched on earlier that you really didn't have an option. And you're also, in addition to going through treatment and quitting your job and going all in, you're also a single mom. Right. So
Yes.
that's very important. And that's one of the things that I had a guest on the podcast at the very beginning of the year who is a young gal, and she and her partner started their business and just totally exploded. And they're doing six figures every year. And people were coming and asking me, that doesn't seem realistic for me because, you know, I'm a single mom, or, you know, I work full time and I want to try to see if I can do this as a side hustle. So I want you to kind of tell me why you decided, with all of these variables, to go all in on this business. What was really going through your mind with all that?
Yeah. I'm envious of that woman and her husband who have
Aren't we
made
all?
6 figures. I think that's one thing that I want to comment on. That is amazing, but that's not the reality of small business. It doesn't always happen like that. So I want to first mention that's amazing. But if you're starting your small business, don't think that that's going to be you, because the reality is it's not. I'm in a booming market. And even I have ebbs and flows in my business, regardless of how many people know me and the feedback of my current clients. But yeah, I not only am I a single mom, my son's father actually passed away February prior to me being diagnosed with cancer. So like, I don't have a backup plan. I don't have
Whoa.
yeah, I don't have anybody to like, fall back on. Like, it literally is just me. I have a wonderful support system of my mom and my girlfriends. So I'm really blessed in that sense. But like financially, I have to keep on hustling. And like I said, the ebbs and flows of the business are legit. So you have to be prepared to, work 5 days a week for 3 months straight. And then you might only have a client or two clients,
Mhm.
you know, for a month or two. And you have to realize that that's the way that your business is going to go. So
Mhm.
spend the money when you can and you have it, but realize that there is going to come a point where you're not going to have that money to spend to put back into the business. So yeah, all that to say is I don't have a backup plan. So I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind that there are going to be ebbs and flows of any small business, whether you take off or not. I mean, that's just the reality of the nature of the game, especially with what we do.
Mhm.
My target audience is the retirement community. So they're always there.
Mhm.
Um, but one thing that I notice is my clients are primarily retirement community and single moms. It's just the way
Mm.
that happened for me.
Yeah.
But the single moms have off summer and break and spring break and all those breaks that we have off with our school
Mhm.
kids. So they have to spend their time with their kids. I can't be in the house and vice versa. The, retirement community, they are available all the time. But when it comes down to the holidays, they enjoy those holidays. They leave, they do the things. So kind of incorporating holidays, and school schedules, I have to kind of be cognizant of where those ebbs and flows are going to come. Fortunately, you know, I have my regular clients to fall back on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's important too, to note that the ebb and flow isn't necessarily indicative of you being a failure in your business. All of a sudden
Right.
the leads aren't coming in and you're like, what am I doing wrong? And I think Mollie's point is that you're not really doing anything wrong. It's just circumstantial. There's like screaming going on
I commend you
frequently.
for trying to do this with young ones at home. Like my son is 12 and he hides away, but like I can't imagine having little ones around. And that brings up another good point.
Yeah.
Your children need you so much more in those younger years. And
Hmm.
that's one thing that I wish I would have taken that leap of faith when my son was younger and
Mm.
started this business because it really allows you to make time to be home with your kids. You can
Yeah.
be flexible. You can be there for car pickup line. You can do those things. When I was in corporate, I missed everything. My poor baby
Right.
was in daycare from 7:30 a.m. until 5 o'clock p.m. And then it was home, dinner, shower, bed, and the same routine. Whereas now, like we can sit in the evenings and chit chat, and I can be working and he can still be sitting there telling me like what his day was like. And that is really cool. But you miss out a lot of time as well when you own your own business too, because there are some times where you have to say, hey, bud, I gotta go take this call in the middle of a
Absolutely.
conversation too. So
Yeah.
it it's tough, but I wish that I had done it sooner, to be completely honest.
Right. Yeah. No, I can absolutely relate to that. And, when I was working out of the house 5 days a week as opposed to two, and now with my business structure, I really tried to be very conscious about ways to scale my business where I was able to work from home as much as
Mhm.
possible. So I really sort of leaned into the virtual organizing and the life coaching and productivity coaching, and a little bit less out in a session in a client space, so that I could do exactly what you're saying, because, my kids
Yeah.
need snacks 24/7 apparently. So the
It doesn't stop. He's
oh,
12 going on 18, I swear. He could eat me out of house and home in 3
oh,
days.
I'm
It's
so sure. Yeah, they have a hollow leg, especially the boys at that age. They have
like
two hollow legs.
totally, absolutely.
Oh, that's too funny. I love it. All
Yeah.
right. So I want to this is a really important word that I want you to kind of tell me what was going through your mind also in regards to starting and running your business. There is a lot of fear that people have when
Mhm.
they are facing the unknown. And regardless of the circumstances, obviously, since introducing your story, we know that your circumstances were pretty extreme in some areas of your life.
Yeah.
So there had to have been some fear there. So do you want to just kind of share how you overcame that, and provide some advice for people who are just really feeling afraid to dive in and take this leap and make their dream a reality?
Yeah, it's weird because I think like you said, my life was so extreme when I decided to do this. I was like, worst case scenario is it doesn't work and I go back to corporate. I had that option. I had that option to go back and work in corporate. Fortunately, it did, take off and I'm lucky, but the piece of fear, even owning your small business, when things are good, things are great. But then there's always that part in the back of your head, like, I'm so tired. I've all I've done is work for the last 3 months. I'm burnt out.
Mhm.
And then you get that ebbs and flows where it's okay, now I'm slow. Ugh, I wish I was busy again. So I think the bottom line is like, don't doubt that if you're doing what you love, it will work out in the end. It is scary when you're like, are my bills going to be paid? But
Mhm.
as soon as you get to that place where you're like, oh, this is looking really tough,
Mhm.
something always comes through. And I truly believe that it has always been like, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to get a second job. And then I realized, no, I'm not going to. I have the consistency of following up with the leads. I have the consistency of focusing on other projects to build out my business, vendor events,
Mhm.
networking events, social groups that, are in the neighborhood,
Right.
whatever the case may be, there's always a way. If you don't have a client, you should be out trying to find clients and face to face. Where your business everywhere is like one of my number one tips.
Mhm.
If I'm at the grocery store, I get asked what I do, where am I located? So that's one way, that I kind of share my business. But there are ways to keep your time moving, set up those appointments with other small business owners and get their feedback. That's a great way that when you're feeling like you're not working in your business,
Mhm.
you need to be working on networking for your business because those conversations will come full circle. Could be a week later, it could be 6 months later, and everybody can be nervous, and that's totally fine, but it's okay to be like, "Okay, maybe this isn't it for me.
For
Maybe I
sure.
need to
For
go
sure.
back
Yeah.
to
There might be a
corporate."
little bit of denial there sometimes.
Yeah,
We pretend like everything is honky dory 24/7
yeah.
because you're right. It's totally not. And I think that's super important. That's all really good, real talk advice. I love it, Molly. That's awesome. So let's talk about then when you are working pretty consistently. What does a typical workday look like for you? I love asking this question because the professional organizing industry is just full of different things to do. So, what are you spending most of your time doing?
Yeah, so I actually watched a few of your other, women on the podcast, and,
Mhm.
like, their day is they have, like, a day of what it looks like. Mine looks completely different
Mhm.
every day. Like, the weeks that I'm busy, I mean, I'm at my clients from 9:30 to 3:30. I'm working with my clients. Some of my clients work with me. Some of my clients are like, "Okay, here's my closet, do your thing, and I'll come and pull them out when I need them."
Mhm.
But I will say at least one day a week, I do spend following up on admin stuff. So I normally it's like my Friday night. I kind of like sit on the couch. My son's watching a movie. I'm like on my laptop, following up on social, making social posts or whatever the case may be, planning for that week out. But every day is really different. I typically book my clients out about 2 weeks in advance.
Mhm. Mhm.
My schedule is typically like 2 weeks in advance during a normal ebb. When it starts to die down, that's when I spend more time sitting at my computer, looking for vendor events, setting
Mhm.
up appointments with people I previously worked with, getting reviews from my clients. That's like one of the best things that I like to do when I don't have like anything to do is to follow up with some of the clients that I've worked with. Be like, hey, do me a favor. If you could just write me a review, makes me feel like I've actually done something.
Right. Right. Well, and that's huge.
Um,
That's huge
but
too.
yeah,
I think they're a big deal.
it's yeah, every day looks different. I wish I could say that, the first half of my day is admin and the second half of my day is working with clients, but it really depends on the client.
Yeah.
Um, but every day is different. No day is the same. One thing that I will say is that I do go to the gym at 8:30 every morning, regardless if I have a client or not, because it gets me up and out of my house.
Girl, me too. I knew I
And then
liked
I
you.
and then
Literally
I
every day, 8:30.
yeah, I'm like my class is at 8:30. My son is at school, like, I have to get my butt up into the gym, otherwise, I would probably sit at home and work all day on mundane tasks versus, like, what I should or could be doing, you know?
Absolutely. Well, and I feel like this is like a bit of a side tangent, but I feel like the exercise aspect is really important, especially strength training, because this job is very physically demanding.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I find that if I'm not lifting and getting cardio in, I lack energy in general. But then also if you're especially if you're working with seniors who they may be disabled, they are not able to do as much physically in the space, you're going to be doing double
Yeah.
duty on those sessions. Or if you're working with clients who are allergic to organizing and they're kind of off doing other things,
Right.
you got to be lifting those boxes, carrying from the attic to the basement or whatever it is, and you got to be in shape.
Yeah, I mean, that brings up like a really great point, not to tangent on that, but like it
Yeah.
is such a physical job. I think people see like I keep on relating to like what social media portrays as organization
Mhm.
because so many people are like, oh, I want my house to look like the Netflix series. Like only 20% of my jobs actually look like that.
Right.
The rest, I am like, it's a physical job. You have to wear leggings and a t-shirt. You cannot wear jeans and cute little sneakers to work with your clients. It's just not lot it's not logistically even possible. So
Right.
that's another thing is like it is super physical. So those weeks that you have 5 clients, one every day, like you need to physically and mentally put your mind in the right place because you are going to be moving stuff.
Yeah.
Um and also, we all take a carload with us when we leave a client's house. Like
Right.
that walk just to get into the car, sometimes I'm like, "Oh gosh, this is gonna be a long one."
Yeah, yeah, a big haul at the end of it, trying to figure out,
Yeah,
am I going to have to take this one to the junkyard? Am I going to try to scrap it? Is the donation center going to do they even take lawnmowers that are gasoline powered? Like all these questions that come up that like all the extra variables
exactly.
that you
Yeah.
weren't expecting that happens all the time.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of your favorite types of jobs?
So my favorite type of job is like the aesthetically pleasing one.
Hmm.
That's cool. But I would say like garages are kind of my favorite. I don't know why, just because like everybody assumes that a garage is like where you just dump stuff, but like
Hmm.
it can actually be a functional space for everybody in the home. And it can actually look really pretty. And
Yeah.
I love to go into a garage that's just a dump and turn it into like something really pretty, something functional. I have clients who had a garage that they basically was an extension. They wanted to use it as like an extension of their house.
Right.
So we lifted everything up off of the floor, put it in overhead things. So I would say probably my garages are my favorite because I think most people are scared of their garages.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. Any storage space like that, deep storage, it has the
Yeah,
potential for such a massive transformation because you're right.
it does.
It is like where your stuff goes to die most of the time, and you just don't even know what you're dealing with.
Exactly. Nine
So,
times out of 10, there's like a donations pile, there's a
right.
trash pile, there's a pile that we're supposed to give to the friend that we haven't seen in 6 months. There's boxes that we don't even know what's in them anymore. So I love to be able to like clean out garages. I think some of my favorite projects have been garages, which seems weird because I would have never said that at the beginning of my journey of an organizer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
probably wanted like pantries and closets and the pretty stuff, but I think those are just they make the biggest impact on a family's home as well.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I love it. And so just kind of moving right along, what will you say you're hoping to achieve in your business this year?
So this year, I am hiring 2 new organizers that will be joining my team. They will be able to take clients on without me being there hands on. So that'll be really nice. Where I can be focusing more on the business and
Mhm.
working with clients in the areas that I really want to work on, not just taking jobs because I need to take a job. I can
Right.
kind of strategically pick what jobs I want to be on. So that's kind of what I have in store for later this year. Also, I think I mentioned this to you, but kind of building my Amazon affiliates program. I do all of my sourcing from Amazon. It's the most affordable, it's the most convenient, and the return policy is like by far the best and
Mhm.
most flexible if it doesn't work in your home. So I'm building those two things out. And then also, the way that I sell my business is through talking to people. I have never met a stranger. So this year we're focusing a bit more on our vendor events. So
Ah,
we'll be attending a vendor events, just kind of chit-chatting. At vendor events, there's always the craft tables, the real estate, the multi-tiered sales level marketing, but I never see organizers there, which I find so strange because it's such a big industry right now and it's such a huge hot topic on social
great.
media. And anytime I tell somebody what I do, 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, I need you, or I know somebody else who needs you. So getting my face in front of those vendor events is like going to be really fun too. So that's kind of the three things that I'm focusing on building out my business this year.
Beautiful. Yeah, great tip too. Vendor events are always a lot of fun and they're
Yeah,
easy and
they
you get to
are.
meet everybody. And it's not even just finding clients, it's also finding other industry pros that you can partner with, handy people, like the guy who sells the overhead storage units for
Exactly.
garages. Like, I'm not going to be
Yes.
doing that. Everybody's got to know a guy for something.
Yes.
That's when you meet them.
That is such a good point. I think I had so many people reach out to me in the beginning of starting my business that I didn't realize I needed as a resource.
Mhm.
And now, like, some of my core referrals come from other guys that I partner with, my trash removal guy,
Yeah.
real estate agents. There's just so many people that build your network that you have to communicate and get out there and talk to everybody.
Right. Yeah. Get your face out there, fam, not just on the internet, not just through Google SEO, but actually in person in your community where you want to
Yeah,
be working. Right. So
exactly.
we may have talked about some of this. You might have a few other tricks up your sleeve, but I want you to share your top 3 pieces of advice to anyone looking to start this business. If you want to try to get over the fear hump, we kind of talked about that a little bit, but if you have any other advice you'd like to share with our audience, we're all ears, Molly.
Yeah. So my first piece of advice would definitely be to invest in a CRM. It will organize your business for you, and a website, having all of those tools together will make your life so much easier. Also, focusing on who your target audience is.
Mhm.
Like I mentioned before, my target audience is the retirement community. Quite honestly, because I live close to them. My mom lives in a retirement community,
Mhm.
and I'm actually close to like 2, so that's easy, but also, like, single moms, connecting with other moms just like me is also another big area, so focus on that, and then my 3rd tip would be, don't be afraid to not take a project just because you think, "I need the money."
Mhm.
Not every project is going to be worth your time and effort, whether that's you don't communicate well with the client, that's okay. There's
Mhm.
somebody that will communicate with that client better. And when that happens, it's okay to send them to another organizer. And it's okay because when that happens, the same thing happens. They give them back to you. We
Right.
do share within our community, we do share leads. And that's okay. We're all stronger in different areas. And that's why we all have a business. And that's why we're not competing with each other.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that was 3. I don't even know. I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, that was 3. You nailed it.
Okay.
And I think that there's just so much to share that it's hard to narrow it down
Yeah.
to just 3 things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that you brought up the fact that we are kind of all working together, and when you give a lead away, that circle of giving is completed and just comes right back to you in the form of a lead for you that's really tailor-made for you, because we are all super different. People are going to want to work with you for one reason or another that they may not want to work with me, and that's completely fine that we're not made for every job, and it's okay to really assess what you're good at, what you're not, what you like, what you don't. And just through the
Right.
process of starting the business and going for it and trying things, that really is the best way to determine what you like. Like you said, you had no idea you liked garages so much when you
I
first
know
started.
how so weird.
Right. You
I
thought
should have
like,
known. My
it's
dad's
great.
garage is like immaculately organized and has always been my entire life. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, it's just weird. I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Put
yeah.
that piece together. I love it. I
I
love
yeah, I
it.
just, it's funny. I didn't even actually think about what's my favorite thing to organize until
Mhm.
you asked. So
Yeah, it changes for me, I think, every single year.
yeah.
whatever happened to be focusing on or getting certified in or all the things. But to wrap up, Mollie, I just want to make sure that we are able to connect with you as easily as possible. If you have anything special that you have going on right now, a promotion you're running or anything, just let us know how we can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can look for me at organizeme.help on any of the social platforms. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Like I said, I'm working on my Amazon affiliates program. So I am building up the products that I use most commonly with my clients. Typically, I start them in my house and then I transition them to see if they're functional in other clients' houses. So I will be sharing tons of really good content that's available to everybody. I know not everybody is within the same circumference as I am, but those are great couple things that I'll be working on. But yeah, they can always reach out to me. I do virtual consultations. I know you mentioned you do those as well. And then I also do self-guided consults. So if you're something that you kind of need help chatting through the troubles and struggles that you have in your home, and if you're looking for help and direction on how you can do it on your own, I'm there. And then, like I said, we have a network of other organizers. One of my closest friends now is an organizer I met when I first started my business. Having those networks to kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Join any of the groups. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I also am part of another group where we follow other organizers. I think that's how we connected. So yeah, I'm on there all the time, always posting, sharing what's beneficial to me, my clients, posting struggles, all of that stuff as well.
Yeah, super important to have that community. And I'll make sure to get the details and links to post down in the description of the video, as well as the podcast show notes, so that you guys can connect with Mollie, all her friends, join my group, connect with all our friends. We're always here to help share and bolster each other's businesses. It's just a beautiful thing. I love the industry. Mollie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It has been an honor to have you here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
All right, fam, as always, that wraps it up. And I just want to thank you again for spending your time with me today. It's been an honor. And I wanted to give an extra shout out to Mollie for coming on the podcast and sharing her story. It really is so inspiring. I hope that you found inspiration in it and some encouragement if you're facing a similar situation or you're facing your own roadblocks. We all have things in our lives that we need to overcome to take those leaps of faith. And I just wanted to bring Mollie on to show you what's possible and look at all of the wonderful things that she has been able to achieve on her own terms. And I just such a fan, and go Mollie. I love it. I'm just so happy that she agreed to come on and share that story with us. I want to make sure to mention that we have all those goodies down in the description, and Mollie has a ton of resources, especially if you are struggling with finding the right products for jobs, or if you are an organizing enthusiast looking for ways to level up your product knowledge for your own space. Head over to Mollie's website. She's got tons of great suggestions. Be sure to follow her on social media. All of her information and resources will be linked down in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast show notes, as well as all of my resources. Book those calls with me before my slots fill up. They're starting to fill up faster and faster these days, but I love it, and I love sitting and chatting with you guys and strategizing. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do, and I would be honored to help you with that. Don't forget to join my free Facebook group and follow along on social media at I Speak Organized, all the things. And beyond that, I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.